At this current moment, CJ Stroud is a top 5 NFL quarterback. Okay, maybe that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but it's a clear indicator. He is a clear indicator of the have and have nots in the NFL today. There was once a time in the NFL where you could win with the guy at quarterback who wasn't an impact player. Think Peyton Manning on the Broncos in his final season. Trent Dilfer's the big name that everyone brings up. Joe Flacco with the Ravens years ago. In today's NFL, it is so incredibly different. So incredibly difficult not to struggle if you don't have that top 5 QB. If you don't have the guy who can go down and make a play when it's needed most. And sure, you can have an elite defense. You can have an elite set of weapons, an elite offensive line. But that quarterback still has to make plays when it matters most. You can see that with the San Francisco 49ers this year. They have the best running back in football in Christian McCaffrey, a top 2 or 3 tight end in football in George Kittle. They have an incredible offensive line with the best left tackle in the game. They have a great defense with one of the best pass rushers in the game in Nick Bosa. They just added Chase Young. The defense has playmakers all the way through. I mean, Fred Warner is an animal, probably the best linebacker in the game too. You have wide receivers. Brandon Ayuk is one of the best second wide receivers in the game. Deebo Samuel is very solid. The positional flexibility to be able to play Kyle Juszczyk at fullback or at tight end or out wide. George Kittle can line up at every position. Deebo Samuel could be in the backfield. It's just incredible. Kyle Shanahan's a great head coach. You could have everything you'd want on a football team, but if Brock Purdy is not making throws when it matters most, they will not win. They've lost 3 in a row, and now they're on their bye week, and we'll see what they do next week and going forward. I still think they're one of the best teams. I'll say the second best team in the NFC behind the Eagles. But my point is not about the 49ers. It's about the quarterback position and its importance today in the NFL. And I think CJ Stroud is showing that he is that guy. I don't think that's a stretch whatsoever. His performance today on a team in the Texans that don't have a lot of talent. They have some guys, right? Tank Dell looks like a very good wide receiver. Or I should say, he has the potential to be a very good wide receiver. Damian Pierce took a step back. Their offensive line has pieces, right? Laramie Tunsil, obviously, is a great offensive lineman. Otherwise, their line is kind of shaky. Their defense has some pieces, but hemorrhages points. I mean, they gave up 37 to Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Bucks. The Texans are not a good team yet. I think they're a decent team. They have the potential to be a good or a very good team with the right additions. And CJ Stroud at the end of the game today showed exactly why he was taken with the number 2 overall pick and maybe why he should have been taken with the 1st overall pick. 40 seconds left in the game, down 4, needing a touchdown, drove them all the way down the field. Elite passes, knew where to throw the ball, right? Routes, obviously, you have to read them well as an NFL quarterback, but he's able to find receivers open. I should say he's able to throw receivers open, which is not something you see out of rookies immediately in the NFL. In college, you find receivers that are open, you throw them the ball, they take it in. Wide open is a lot different in college than it is in the NFL. In the NFL, you're never going to receive or see a receiver open, be able to start your throwing motion, get the ball to the receiver, and have them still be open when the ball gets to them. You need to throw them open. And the elite NFL quarterbacks know how to do that. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. And in the days of the last quarterback generation, Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers and Ben Roethlisberger, you could go on. They know how to throw receivers open, and that's a skill that's not often shown in their first year. CJ Stroud has that now. And then on top of that, the ability to see the time left, 40 seconds, go down the field, make smart decisions. The throw to Tank Dell on the sideline was one of the better throws in the NFL this year. Just the perfect position. And Tank Dell made a great play on it, got both hands on the ball, secured it, toe drag, both feet inbounds, then went out of bounds, so the time stopped. Elite play from him as well. But CJ Stroud's throw was about as perfect as you could have had it. With the game on the line, in the moment that it mattered, the Texans needed their guy to have it, needed their guy to make throws when it mattered most, and he did that. And the touchdown pass to Tank Dell as well was a great throw. Not as great as the play before that, but the drive as a whole was elite and should have Texans fans absolutely thrilled that they got their guy. They had the second overall pick. They traded up for the third to get Will Anderson, if you'll remember. They didn't trade up for the first overall pick. They may have tried, I'm not sure. But the Panthers made an aggressive bid for the first overall pick. They gave up DJ Moore to the Bears. And the Bears, I think, probably made a smart decision, although you'd rather have CJ Stroud than Justin Fields right now, I think. But if it's Bryce Young or Justin Fields, and if it's Bryce Young and Justin Fields versus Justin Fields and DJ Moore, I'd rather have Justin Fields and DJ Moore plus the extra pick they got. But the Panthers made an aggressive play, went and got their guy who, I mean, there's some organizational disagreement apparently on who the guy was supposed to be. And that's kind of awkward when the guy picked right after looks better than the guy you picked. But the Texans sat there. They took their guy's second overall. They also traded up for the defender third overall. But they got their QB. They got their guy. And he's going to be their guy well into the future. And so how does this relate to the topic on the San Francisco 49ers and quarterbacks as a whole? It's very, very difficult in the NFL to win without a quarterback. Even if you have a quarterback, you still might not win, right? The Texans are 4-4. And even though they beat the Buccaneers, they still have struggled against certain opponents. I mean, they gave the aforementioned Panthers their first win not too long ago. Was it last week or the week before? The Texans are not a great team, but DeMeco Ryans has changed in the culture. They already have more wins than they did last year, and it's week 9. And they already had the bye week. They're 3-1 at home. And more importantly, they could build around the guy at the quarterback position who they have on a rookie contract. And that does so much for a team. And CJ Stroud at this moment, is he playing like Patrick Mahomes? Not quite. Is he playing like Joe Burrow? Not quite. Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. But I think the drop-off after that is pretty flat. And maybe you could argue Lamar Jackson's that guy, especially after torching two of the best teams in the NFC, the Seahawks and the Lions, in consecutive weeks. Maybe you think, there's some other guys that are up there. Matthew Stafford, when he's healthy, right? Dak Prescott. I don't know. I don't know who you want to throw in that conversation. Deshaun Watson, if he ever returns to form. Tua, if he's not facing an elite team or even above average team. But for my money, CJ Stroud is right on that line. I'm going to put him 6 behind Lamar at this present moment. But boy, Texans fans have to be excited. And as a Jets fan, as someone who took whose team took Zach Wilson second overall, to see a second overall pick thrive so instantly, it hurts a little bit. Imagine CJ Stroud and Garrett Wilson. Anyway, sorry, I digress. But that'll do it for this episode of Quick Thoughts. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think of CJ Stroud's performance. Where do you rank him in the QBs today? I understand 6 might be an aggressive take, so let me know what you think in the comments below. I appreciate you watching this episode. Peace out.